Yeah, hi there. These comments are for DN. I'm using the initials of your name, and I want to go over your essay right now. So let's take a look at what you have to say. So, you have in your first paragraph, let's take a look. So you have, it looks like you have some introductory ideas that precede the thesis. And I like the idea where you said this is only the tip of the iceberg. Good. That's what I call a native speaker type expression. So you say the disadvantages far exceed the advantages of that plan. Personally, I oppose the plan to build a movie theater in my neighborhood because it affects us in many ways, right? So the thesis, if you look at what you're doing in the different body paragraphs, you might say, I personally oppose the movie theater because it will bring noise, traffic, and unsafe conditions. You could put those three key points right in that beginning, in that thesis, and that gives you a little bit more sharply focused thesis. Then you can connect those body paragraphs better. So you say, first of all, the movie theater brings nothing but noise. And then you talk about how you live in a peaceful neighborhood and you want to be just left alone and you don't want the movie theater there. So you had a lot of good examples in there. That was really good. You get into your next paragraph, you say, second of all, hundreds of vehicles from the movie theater may lead to a traffic jam. Now, I would stay focused on the movie theater thing. You might say this. Second of all, a movie theater will bring unnecessary traffic jams by my neighborhood. Right? That takes the topic and connects it back to the purpose of the writing task. Of course, you have a lot of examples in there. And then you have your final idea. You say, last but not least, it is really unsafe to have a movie theater in our neighborhood. Yes, that connects very closely back to the writing task. And then you give some examples there. And then you have your conclusion. So you have the advantages of having a movie theater in my neighborhood are much less than the disadvantages. I totally oppose the plan. I would say right after disadvantages there, I would probably encourage you to use a word like therefore or as a result. So then you link those two ideas together. You have the advantages on the one hand, you have the disadvantages on the other, and to show the cause effect, you can use a word like therefore. All right, so from an organizational standpoint, there's maybe a few changes you might make in your thesis, and maybe one of those topic sentences in there, as I've just pointed out. I think that your support is strong. You spent time to really develop your ideas, so you did a great job with that. Let's take a look at some language use things. Let's take a look at any possible problems you might be having with some of your either word choice or sentence structure. And by the way, I liked how you included the counter argument in the introduction, and then that preceded your thesis and your opinion. So I thought that was pretty clever how you did that. So it makes your argument a little bit more convincing because you're acknowledging the opposite view, you explain it, but then you discuss what you think is the or are the disadvantages of building it. Okay, let's take a look at your first paragraph here. Okay, maybe the second sentence, you say, many people support that plan because they argue that the movie theater will bring such benefits as job opportunities and local economy. No, I would say job opportunities to the local economy is probably a better way to express that idea. All right, let's go to your second paragraph. Let me see if I find any problems in there. Okay, in your second sentence, you have a verb choice problem. You say, I live in my peaceful neighborhood for 20 years and I wish that they leave us alone. I would say this, I have lived in my peaceful neighborhood community for 20 years and I wish that they would just leave us alone. But how about this? I wish the developers of the movie theater would just leave us alone. It's probably better to even say that. So in this case, I think the present perfect tense is going to work better than what you use. Use the simple present. And I would also say, I wish they would just leave us alone too. All right, let's go to your third paragraph, see if there's any problems here. Now remember, I'm pointing out some problems. Most of these things are minor. They're not really affecting my ability to understand you, so don't get too nervous on me. You're a very good writer. You really are. Let's go to your third paragraph here. You say, let me look at this one. Okay, maybe when you get to that, it's in the second line beginning with this. It says, this century is the time of hustle and bustle. People rush every day and everywhere. So in this case, you have what's called a run-on or a comma splice. You're using two different sentences. So I would suggest after the word bustle, use a semicolon. Right? And then that way you don't have that sentence formation issue. Okay, let's go to paragraph 4. Let's see. Yeah, I would go to the last sentence of that paragraph. You have a minor problem. It's kind of dealing with passive voice. It says, besides that, adolescents in our community may be involved. You got two choices here. You can say may be involved in or may involve themselves in illegal activities because they're affected and ruined by some bad guys who usually appear around our area. So I would change that to either may be involved or may involve themselves. Your final paragraph, let's see what we have. I think the only thing I said there is right after disadvantages, you might use a word like therefore as a way of connecting the two ideas together. So I think that's pretty much it. So in each paragraph, I pointed out some minor problems. So you can continue in the grammar lesson number 7 in my online course. You can keep working in that area. And you might want to take a look at two areas of this part of my course. You remember, Grammar Lesson 7 takes you to the website. It's called A Writer's Reference by Dana Hacker, right? So when you go there, go to the grammar section and then study it's called sentence style, and study what's called comma splices and run-ons and fragments because you had some sentence formation issues. You can probably also review some of the punctuation also at that particular site. All right, anyway, thank you very much. So now let's take a look at your score. This is going to do well, I'll be honest with you. I was pointing out some minor problems, but still, I think this is a very strong essay. I'm going to put you at 4.0 out of 5, 25 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. So even though you have some minor errors, you have very good control of your language use, you have a very coherent organization of ideas, and you're taking time to develop your details to help support some of your general ideas. All right, so this score gives you in my class 4.0 is going to put you at 88%. That will be the grade I will put it in on InGrade. All right, thank you for doing the assignment.